welcome back to JG3 Reviews. My name is James and I do fountain pens and paper and ink and all that good stuff. And today, it's a pen day. This is another one of those pens that I got at the Dallas Pen Show, or I should say, my wife bought this pen for me for my birthday at the Dallas Pen Show. This is the FPR Fountain Pen Revolution Jaipur version 2, and this is a pen that comes with a lot of different nib choices. But what nib do you think I chose? Well, of course, if you saw the title already, this is the Flex nib. It's a piston filler pen. We're going to look at how that part of the pen functions. It has an ebonite feed, love that, and it has that Flex nib. So we've got a lot to look at in this pen, so let's flip that camera and get it going. All right, let's look over the Jaipur version 2. So first you'll notice that acrylic, which I do think is just a bit darker than is showing up on the camera today, but it is a really nice acrylic with these lighter blues and darker blues and some almost smoky gray in what is almost a clear section. So just an interesting acrylic. Now they've got several different colors, finishes, so you check those out and you might find something that you like. Now, this is a piston filler pen, so you take off the end cap and you will find that twist knob. If you're not familiar, a piston filler is a pen that has a piston in its chamber, and when you twist this knob, that piston goes down, forces the air out. When you twist it back the other way, it creates a vacuum and draws in the ink from the ink bottle. Very simple and a great filling system. I'm kind of partial to it. I like piston filler pens. Just very convenient if you're into bottled ink. So anyway, then just a nice standard looking barrel, very simple classic lines. Then the chrome trim ring with FPR stamped into that. Nothing on the other side there. And a fairly long cap. The clip is nice and springy, and this matters because it also has a glide over the fabric sort of an end to it, and not all pens get this right. Some are almost useless when you get to the clip, and then, what's the point? They're nothing but a roll stop. Then you have this conical end cap. Very, very simple. Then we take the pen off and things get more interesting. Okay, my flashlight died as soon as I turned it on, so I went and got the big boy. Let's check this. We are going to look down this cap. And there you see it does have a plastic sleeve way up into that cap. Okay, so I've never had trouble with this pen drying out, although I may, leaving the cap off this long and talking about it, never had problems with dry starts or anything like that. And I have not had trouble, as someone commented the other day on a different review, with this pen burping while I'm using it. Watch the asterisk there, while I'm using it. I do sometimes, when I uncap the pen, find ink in the threads because there's been ink in the cap, and so then I get, inky fingers. It's not been that big a deal, but it does become a stay-at-home, stay-at-the-office kind of a pen because of that. I'm thinking it's a temperature thing. Maybe it's, the feed or something there is having an issue. I don't know, but I do have that issue from time to time, as you can see, because I just got ink from the threads. See what I'm saying? And those threads are nice and smooth and comfortable when you're writing, but they're wider threads, and they do just have that tendency to gather and hold ink. And so once I think I've got it cleaned out, then sometimes I really haven't. So that's an issue. Nice, comfortable section. Like I said, those threads don't bother you. Wonderful ink window. And this is the way I think most ink windows ought to be. It's nice and clear. You can see what you do and you don't have. And this I appreciate. Then we get to that number 6 flexible steel nib and that ebonite feed, both of which are things that I do really like about this pen, and I'm willing to put up with, a little inky finger every now and then to be. All right, quick size comparison. Let me find some things that are fairly similar in size, though not in shape. One would be the Jinhao X450. And I got to say, I got this pen out a few minutes ago. Still, just what a fun pen that is. A great pen, and what a really nice blue lacquer they put on that thing. Something that a lot of you might have a Zebra Sarasa lying around. I just happen to have one here on the desk. That's not a fountain pen, but hey, we welcome the roller balls and the gels around here. It's all right. And then, let's see, how about, if I can get it out of that pen case, how about the Mahjong 800 and another pen a lot of you might be familiar with, the Hongdian Black Forest. All right, and this pen does post, not back heavy, really nice and well balanced. So this is the FPR, and it is the Jaipur version 2, and it has the flex nib, obviously. And the ink is now, one thing about a pen like this is that it does force you to slow down and think about what you're doing. And I'm just very much a beginner. Those of you with experience, lots of experience with flex pens, I didn't have to tell you that. You saw that. Okay, so this is all still very much new to me. No pretensions here whatsoever of being any sort of an expert on this. But I do like the way that it causes you to slow down and kind of think through what you're doing. Something I frankly find hard to do. And so it's good. As far as the flex goes, as you can see, it's got plenty of it. So this is no pressure whatsoever. This is just very light pressure. Already you can see a difference. This is medium pressure. This is a bit more than that. And then this is really trying to flex. So you get a lot of variation. And again, you can just go up very light, come down, and get plenty. Never had any problem with any sort of, when I talk, I get sloppy. I never had any problem with railroading, actually. My problem with flex nibs before this pen has been lots of problems with railroading, dry outs, and just ink starvation. And I really was ready to give up on them. And then I got this pen, and it just does really well. And I'm not talking about, I reviewed the Can-Write. I like that pen. But pens with more of a flex nib than that, I had trouble with them. I have one I've never reviewed because it's just a waste of time. So let's see here. Let's do a couple of things. So, like I said, I have to really slow down and really think about it because I am still learning and trying to I haven't figured out what particular type of script I want to use with a flex pen. I'm still working on that. There are letters, even letters I've written here that I don't particularly like the way that they turn out. So I'm still working on all of that. But that's kind of the fun, that's part of the hobby, is kind of finding your groove. So as far as the pen goes, what do I like? And let me sum this up. Again, the inky finger thing in the grooves. It has something to do with when it's capped, maybe because I talk with my hands. I think it's temperature related, just like with a eyedropper sometimes have those problems. Anyway, there's that. Other than that, I don't have a problem with this pen. This just means that I only use this pen at home or at the desk. It performs the job of writing with flex very, very well. I've not used this pen with any of the other nibs. I should say that so that, I really can't speak to those other nibs. But with the flex, which would be the reason I would buy this pen and why I'm really glad that my wife gave it to me, sweet, it does the job of flexing very well. And that I like, and I'm willing to put up with a little ink here and there. It's teaching me a new skill, and it's gonna take a while. I can tell it's gonna take a long while, but I like it, and I like what the pen puts out, and it's smooth. If you just use light pressure, you can write with this nib in just your normal style, probably not like overly quick, but you can, and it's gonna do fine. Very wet nib, as you could see. In fact, let me do a quick, I didn't do a wetness thing for you, just a light, I'm just gonna do light pressure, well, light to medium, and look how much ink comes out of that thing. So flow ain't the issue, except for when flow is an issue, right? It has it, and that makes it really good candidate, though, for that flexi nib. So what do you think? Have you used this pen? Do you have experience with it? What are the strengths, the weaknesses that you've experienced? Share those in the comments below. As for me, I'm really enjoying a new type, for me, a new type of fountain pen, and it's been an interesting and a learning experience. All right, God bless you. Can't wait to see you in the comments below and in the next video. Have a great week.